younger are old enough to remember when made in Japan meant junk. Made in Japan now means quality. Because Michigan didn't take seriously or ignore the threat of the import automobile industry. They were taken by surprise. Toyota, which is made in Japan, the #1 selling car in America midsize is the Toyota Camry. When the automobile industry lost its footing in Michigan, then Michigan went into a tailspin because there was no monies to take care of the necessary things that needed to be done. So Michigan accumulated a deficit that they kept hitting until they could not hit no more. But let's look at what's going on now. Cities that had ties to the auto industry: Detroit, Flint, Benton Harbor, Ecorse, they all have or will have an EFN. Is it coincident or by design?
By design.
Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Food for thought again. Commissioner Henry.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. I want to thank the citizens for coming out. I see some new faces. Those new faces are getting information, and I'm glad to hear that, and I'd like to see you being informed and active, because that's what we're going to need now, is active citizens for more than one reason. Not just for a local attack, but for the state attack. I talked to some senior citizens today, and I asked them did they hear about the new law that will supposedly tax their pension, and they said no. But when I told them about it, they got excited. So I want everyone to make sure that you talk to your neighbors, talk to your friends. When there is a meeting, public hearing, any kind of town hall meeting, come. Bring your friends, bring your family, bring your children. Let them hear, so they'll grow up to be active citizens. Joe Harris has scheduled a town hall meeting, and so did I. April the 2nd at 1 o'clock, the old Stern Bronson School. We'll start having our town hall meetings again. I'm going to share a lot of information. I want us to be mobilized. I want us to organize. I want us to be able to inform our neighbors and friends about the opportunities. There's still opportunities here, as well as the need to band together. Once you know who your enemy is, you band together and take them out.
That's right.
I don't know who you think the enemy is, but from here in this spot, I've been here long enough to know who the enemy is. So let's get together and pool our energies together. I'm glad to hear about a lead grant. A lot of people don't know that we have clusters of neighborhood blocks that young children and senior citizens have been affected by the lead. Berry County Health Department, they don't give us that information. So thanks Ms. Franks for coming in, sharing that information about the grants. It's probably been out for a while, and we as people that Berrien County Health Department service, they never get that information out to us. So I thank Ms. Franks for that. You gotta share this information. When you hear it, you gotta share it to someone. It's so important. So when you hear that town hall meeting, go. I'll be there. I was there at the PGA. Grand cutting the ribbon. I heard everything they said. Every word. They said there was a extreme amount of economic development that's going to be happening in this city. They use that word, extreme economic development. Will we be involved in that? I say, if it's going to happen, we better be. We're talking $20,000 for a bleacher seat. People are going to come into our community and pay, not for a soft cushion seat, but a bleacher seat. So, there is opportunities. So if the PGA is here, that you get involved. We're going to talk about it in my town hall meeting. We're going to see how we can get you involved in it. So if you can just make 1% of that $20,000 for one day, you're doing good. Thank you.
Thank
Hope
you.
to see you again.
Commissioner.
Yeah, tonight, quick lesson on what we actually are going through. The word is feudalism. Feudalism was a set of political and military customs in medieval Europe that flourished between the 9th and 15th centuries, which broadly defined was a system for ordering society around relationships derived from the holding of land in exchange for service or labor. Although derived from the Latin word feudum, which means fief. Then in use, the term feudalism and the system it describes were not conceived of as a formal political system by the people living in the medieval period. People had no say-so. In its classic definition, feudalism describes a set of reciprocal legal and military obligations among the warrior nobility revolving around the three key concepts of lords, vassals, and fiefs. There is also a broader definition, as described by Mark Bloch in 1939, that includes not only warrior nobility, but the peasantry bonds of manorialism, tongue-tie. That's M-A-N-O-R-I-A-L-I-S-M, manorialism, or manorialism. Sometimes referred to as feudal society. Since 1974, with the publication of Elizabeth A.R. Brown's The Tyranny of a Construct, an inconclusive discussion among medieval historians. If feudalism is useful construct for understanding the medieval society, we're going back to medieval society right now. I'm going to break it down. This would be in the form of corporations and government. As written in the Herald Palladium on Sunday by the great writer, Kate Janelli, that would be you. While Benton Harbor Emergency Manager Joseph Harris said he has no immediate plans to take advantage of a new law that expands the powers of the emergency manager statewide, he does have some long-term ideas that could mean significant changes for the city. Governor Rick Snyder signed a bill into law Wednesday that gives greater muscle to emergency financial managers. We all know that. The way the commissioners are elected now means they can win with a very small amount of votes, Harris said. He is also considering adding ballot language to shrink the commission from a 9-member commission to a 5-member commission, getting rid of ward commissioners. Well, let me make this clear to you, perfectly clear. When you lose your ward commissioners, you lose your power of vote. That's the reality. Ward specifies and defines your representation. Also stated in this notation, or a statement from Mr. Harris, who is acting on the behest, now quote, Whirlpool, the corporation. This is the state and the corporation. It's something I should look at and the people need to vote on, Harris said. Now, if you are silly enough in November to vote yes on this, then you not only outdo yourself, because it is a fact that in order for Mr. Harris to do this, or the state to do this, based on our charter, which means an amendment of the charter, am I correct, Commissioner? It has to be put on the ballot for you to vote on. All right, that's amending any charter. In the meantime, I won't say I'm considering canceling the commission's meetings, Harris said. I see no benefit for them having meetings. There you are. It doesn't hurt me per se, but it's a bad reflection on not only themselves, but on the community as a whole. So in other words, it's painting a picture, if you believe in the pictures of the press, and a statement from someone who would come into your neighborhood that you don't even know, that you and your household don't know what you're doing. You're a simpleton. That's how you would break this down. And is anyone out there simpleton? Would you please raise your hand? Hold on, press. Don't do it yet. Okay. All right. The commissioners are not a true representation of Benton Harbor, Harris said. While the commissioners have voiced their opposition to Harbor Shores and Whirlpool, Harris said he believes most Benton Harbor residents don't have any objections to those organizations. That's not true. I, in fact, and you can quote me on this, I have 1,675 signatures that made it all the way to the Bush White House, and then they were rejected because George W. Bush at the time, on behalf of Harbor Shores, wanted Harbor Shores to go on to the good old boy club, the corporate club.
That's right.
How about that? When asked who will act as representatives of Benton Harbor residents, if not the city commissioners, Harris pointed to the metaphor, the city as a company. So this is letting you know that, in fact, the bed of ties is with the corporation and the state government. As it had been with us in the past, the corporation who claimed to be a partner with the city of Benton Harbor came and played the city of Benton Harbor, and foolishly we got played. In many instances, we've given away now 2 bodies of water. Your most valuable resource,
Yeah, that's right.
is the water. Okay, now let me continue with the final portion of this lesson. Harris is here to, on behalf of the state, finish the job off. And in this finishing off of the job, he says the voice of the people has been muted. He wanted to say because the elected officials have failed to carry out their fiduciary responsibility. I say, Joe Harris, you're a liar. Because Joe Harris, not only have you not collaborated with this government on behalf of the state, you will not walk down the block in the hood to collaborate with the residents that live in the city. Therefore, of course the voices would be muted because you're not listening to the voices of the people. I finally, in my statement like this, remember folks, we're going into feudalism. And if we don't bind together, we the people, shoring up to protect our households, shoring up to protect our government, and this, no matter what the odds are. I don't mean you have to do bloodshed, but I see, sadly, blood on the horizon. We're in epic times. We're in a time now that is of a biblical proportion. We're in a time now that evil is really reigning over the city, and hell is busting loose by way of the corporation with the states condoning in the form of Joe Harris. Don't take it as Joe Harris. You know, the devil sends out imps. All right, so it's a spiritual war. It is not the personal war. It's spiritual. But we are under siege. It is time for you now to lock arms with the government. God bless you all.